called Dawn of Civilization, which looks and feels very much like things that those learners are used to, but brings in a learning element. It trains their numeracy skills, it trains their literacy skills, and it helps the learners who typically are from communities that don't have access to either a formal learning environment or a very strong formal learning environment, to help them in an environment that they're used to, pick up new skills, critical thinking, numeracy, and literacy. So again, as we go back to that 500 million users out there that haven't been exposed to product. So Open Durian, one of our AWS EdStart members in Thailand, runs a test prep platform. So how do they get into the top universities in Thailand? How do they get into the medical entrance exams? How do they pass their English as a second language exams to study overseas? They deliver all of these courses online. They enable existing content owners, like this gentleman right here, to bring their content into an online environment. So the way that they've thought about artificial intelligence is quite a unique way. And this is normally a video, but I'll just talk you through it in this example. So they have hundreds of content creators on their platform that want to be more efficient in how they create content for their learners, so they can spend more time coming up with new ideas as opposed to operational work. So in this specific example, a content creator has uploaded an image of a hot air balloon and a lighthouse, and they're trying to test the students on identification of objects in English. So as you can see, actually, maybe I can play this. This might work. As you can see, a learner will go into the Open Durian platform and they'll choose an image. They'll then, using Amazon recognition, self-identify those images and be able to then add them into a question bank for their learners. As the student then is presented with the option, they self-identify on the picture and they receive points, and then obviously carry on with the course. So a very, very quick and easy way to bring automation into a teacher's, into a content creator's role, not replacing that creator, that teacher. Of course, we can never replace human interaction, but providing a way to make the more mundane parts of their job simpler. So another really cool example, and we can talk in much more depth about some of the other AI capabilities that Amazon Web Services has, whether that's automatic translation, whether that is text-to-speech or speech-to-text functionality, or even building out a chatbot to engage as a contact center for your product. So this brings me, hopefully, to sort of an area or in a space where you're now asking, some of those technologies sound really exciting. Some of those examples of EdTech customers working with us sound really interesting. How do I engage with AWS in a more programmatic way? And that allows us to present AWS EdStart, which is our virtual accelerator for education technology companies who are specifically at that startup phase. And I'll get to what we mean by startup in one of the next slides. But first, let me paint this picture of why we created the program. And maybe this resonates with you, maybe it doesn't resonate with you. If you think that you have bigger challenges than the ones demonstrated here, I'd love to hear from you about those challenges. But for many edtechs in Australia, where the study was done, the 4 biggest challenges for founders, for CEOs of education technology startups were ranked finding customers, finding investment, finding talent, and expanding internationally. So these are the areas as you grow as a startup, as an edtech company, that you'll find challenging. And we hope that we can help you with those challenges. And that's why we created AWS EdStart. So the tenets of this program, and it's important at Amazon, we always think about the tenets of what we do before we do it, because it helps guide us and guide what our customers want, is we wanted to engage and support edtech startups as early as possible, and then consistently engage with them as they build, launch, and grow their solutions. And that's why at the start of this presentation, I mentioned that idea to IPO. We want to be with you all the way along that journey and really support the challenges that you face, but also help you scale faster and scale more successfully. We want to focus on the innovation, the positive disruption that you guys are bringing to an industry that will always be there and will always have its challenges, but is always just got so much positivity and amazing output and impact to society. We want to help you solidify your place in that industry, and we want to make it easy for you guys to find the right tools and resources, both at AWS, but also within the EdTech community globally. So within the program, we have two tiers. The AWS EdStart Innovator tier is very much focused on early stage companies. So you might have just set up your company. You might be building out your MVP, 1, maybe 2 years old as an organization. Within that tier, we provide $500 promotional credit. We give you access to our global portal to learn from others and each other. And you're invited to some of the events that we put on throughout the year. So anyone is able, if they're younger than 2 years old, to apply for this program and most likely get accepted. The second tier is the AWS EdStart membership tier. Oh, excuse me. I went too far. The membership tier. So as a member, you have access to a few more benefits, but there's a more discerning application process. So you have to be less than 5 years old as an organization. So in 2021, that means you have to have formed from 2016 through to 2021. Your revenue annually must be less than $10 million. And you must be doing something innovative and disruptive in the education space. When you are welcomed into the program, before we accept you formally, we tend to work closely with you to understand your AWS usage trends and also how those trends might change or permeate in the next 6 to 9 months. From that position, we provide you a set of promotional credits that hopefully helps you grow and scale on our platform without worrying about those infrastructure costs in those first 6 to 9 months of usage whilst you're in the program. So typically when members join, they see that benefit as the most critical benefit. We need support financially. I understand that. Startups are very much bootstrapped, focused on driving cost efficiencies. And of course, as an organization, so are we. So we understand that. But as they come into the program and they see the full range of benefits that we offer, they very quickly start to take advantage and see potentially greater value in those other benefits. So I'll just talk through those for you. In the community tier, we of course have access to our global portal. We have a ton of members around the world that you can connect with, learn from, potentially partner with, and we try and facilitate that through the portal itself, but also through networking events. We run meetups at the moment virtually, but whenever possible, we will do those in person again. We send through monthly newsletters, thought leadership pieces, as well as opportunities for you to connect with the ecosystem, as well as other learners, other EdTech founders. That can be through mentorship, through founders dinners, through investor introductions, and we do pitch days. So we try, just like UXI is doing today, connect EdTech pitchers with investors and try and create brand awareness and groundswell in the market. From a technical perspective, of course, we truly believe that it's really important for EdTech startups to be positioned and architected for success from the very beginning. You could have a piece of very good media engagement, or you could have a very significant customer win, and within the space of a week, you could go from 1,000 users to 10,000 users or 100,000 users. You want to be able to be future-proofed to deal with that type of scale and upscaling to make sure that your customers, your users, your learners continue to have a very, very strong and robust experience. So we want to do that with you proactively. We have monthly webinars that talk to some of the best practices of using AWS infrastructure and solutions. And then if you have specific questions and queries about specific technologies, again, we have our office hours and our solution architect focused support to engage you and help you think that through. And then the final tier on the right, the final program benefit on the right is all around market and go-to-market. So we want to help talk about you to our customers, to people who listen and follow to AWS. We're very customer obsessed, and the most impactful thing for our education customers is for them to be acquainted with the types of capability in the market, which is you guys, and also the impact that you guys are making in the space. So we feature you in blogs, we do social media promotion, we do founders corners where we spotlight founders of edtech companies that are in the program, and we also engage with the media. So we run media alerts and work with our media partners to talk about you to the press and to the public, so you can drive again broader brand and market awareness. So just some examples of some of our current members in India. Hopefully some of you watching are members already, and if you're not, please apply. We'd love to fill out this slide with more vocal members and support you as you grow. In Guru, for example, was part of the program since 2019, and they've mentioned that it gives them access to extremely helpful solution architects, which helps them optimize and future-proof their architecture. And as you can see, they've sort of gone from strength to strength in terms of user capability, user access, and the number of downloads that they receive on their platform. I wanted to quickly touch on two of our earliest members in Australia. So different country, different market, but just an example of the journey that we go on with our members, I think is quite important. So Sasyan is a 4-year-old organization. And oh, sorry, I think that might be quite hard to read, but I'll narrate it for you. Have 3 different products, but their main product focus is Assure, which is really focused on being a preventative capability to monitor the mental well-being and to avoid cyberbullying in the school environment. So through a software that they install in a school network, they try and track any sort of untoward behavior, whether that's giving or receiving of abuse, potential risks to life that can happen, through teenagers or children kind of being exposed to the wrong elements. So when we first engaged with them as a member, they just launched this product, and they were starting to sell to a few schools and sort of, engage with learners across Australia. But if we look at them now, in 2021, their growth has been, quite fantastic. So of course they've partnered with us, but they've also partnered with a lot of the networking partners in Australia, Telstra, Palo Alto, Cisco, to start to sell their product through these partners. And they've just won a very significant deal with South Australian Department for Education, 800 plus schools, 6 years. And their ability to host that on AWS is obviously a key part of that success, because we've done a lot of work with these departments of education beforehand to help them understand our data sovereignty, compliance, our regulatory compliance in these markets. And now we're helping them expand overseas through event participation and connection to other potential partners around the globe. Another example is School Bytes. So this gentleman started the business back in 2015, and he basically saw a problem in front of him and tried to remediate it. So he was currently in high school, and he was hearing from teachers, from his principal, that the collection of money from parents to the school was very, very troublesome. Whether it was checks, whether it was cash in an envelope, there was no way to track it, and it became a very, very laborious administrative task for school administrators. So he graduated, he released the solution, and he got his old school to be his first customer. It's now doing very, very well, hosted on Amazon Web Services, and takes advantage not just of our core services like EC2, S3, and RDS, but also diving into some of our more advanced capabilities like DynamoDB, our NoSQL, low latency, high throughput managed NoSQL database. Direct Connect, which provides capability from our regions to a specific environment. And it's now looking at some of our partners, including Snowflake and Confluent Cloud. It's now in 430 schools in New South Wales, covering 300,000 students and 45,000 staff. So a really tremendous growth. And again, we've been so proud of them as a member and been happy to be part of that journey. And we'd love to go on that journey with all of you who are listening here today. So another example, just another example of one of the benefits is some of the PR work that we've done across the region. We've done this in India. I don't have the demonstration of that, but we've done media engagements in India, in Thailand, in Australia, and Singapore. And this is a specific example where one of our earlier members got very, very sort of positive media engagement. And as a result, actually found new staff to work with who were very passionate about what they were doing and had heard from them through that media engagement. Secondly, just like today, we ask our members to be part of the events that we're a part of. These are some physical events that we did a couple of years ago. It feels like a very long time ago now. But in India, like today, we're asking our members to exhibit at our booths at the event, and we'll continue to do that as we sponsor events throughout this year and into the future. So if you'd like to apply, there is the QR code. You can scan that, or you can go to the link below, aws.amazon.com/education/edstart, and follow the link through there to apply. But that concludes my talking to you part of the presentation. I hope there's some questions. I can't see, so I'm going to go back to the room and see if there's any questions. Thank you, Deepika. I hope those stories were impactful. If there's any questions from the audience, could you please just put them in the chat here so I can see them?